Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unicorn Overlord, or at least the demo of it. Joined once again by my friend Jeff.
It's
from
me.
The Jeff and David Show.
I'm here too.
Yeah.
You had texted and said you texted and said like, are you into Vanillaware games? And I'm like, I am. I have lots of thoughts on Vanillaware games.
Yeah. I don't have quite as many thoughts on the Vanillaware games. I played Odin Sphere a long time ago.
Many moons ago.
Yeah,
as well. I watched mostly Odin Sphere. I experienced through Let's Play videos of all the different alternate endings and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be the endings of that were a little too much for me.
Fair enough.
Go through, I recall. But this is their new game. The sort of surprising thing and the reason it fell on my radar was I saw a thing that said Final Fantasy Tactics, and I was like, ooh, and clicked it. It was the director for Final Fantasy Tactics is enjoying Unicorn Overlord. And I was like, all right, well, that's not a remake or a re-release of War of the Lions edition, but yeah, sure, I'll listen to him. In the 1 week in between gigantic 80-hour JRPGs and Dark Souls follow-up-y games.
Yeah. You got to you got to take this one. I think this one I don't have time for this one. I did play the well. Yeah. I mean, we'll play through the demo. It's a strange game design for sure. I mean, that's not unusual for Vanillaware because like 13 Sentinels is
what they do.
13 Sentinels is also kind of like mostly a visual novel with a weird and honestly, I must say, kind of cheap-looking mech strategy game, kind of stapled in between things. My thoughts on Vanillaware have always just been, I love the art, but I've never been engaged enough to quite get all the way through by myself in one of their games.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I do like just right off the bat, had I not known who had done this, I would have immediately recognized it. So there's something for a consistent art style and theming.
A soul rider with a lane at your side.
The Vanillaware are definitely the masters of the I guess the 2D skeletal puppet style of animation.
Mm-hmm.
It is. They do it better than anyone with no contest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no argument there.
Hold it close to you until Elaine is a man grown. He will have need of the power it bears.
Have you gone through the demo before? Or is this like first time brand new?
I haven't even seen a video of what this game is even
all right
about.
Then. We'll see it as it comes.
Are they coming for us?
Yeah, indeed. Like I said, I was aware that it existed, aware that Vanillaware had made another game, but I was like, no, March was a terrible time for you to release a game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm still 70 hours deep into Infinite Wealth, and I think I might be at like what might be termed the last act, hopefully.
You've almost reached the point where you're on a skyscraper with your shirt off, beating another man.
Of course.
Maybe.
Is there something amiss?
That I mean, maybe actually. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My faith and more lies with you, Joseph. I only pray it is enough.
Okay, so it looks like we're starting off with the tragic royal backstory.
Yeah, the 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim was recommended to me numerous times, and as something that I might enjoy. That is to say, a time travel twinged mech story, anime mech story. I'm like, that does sound cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Vanillaware can do good stories, but the intro to this with the extreme bog standard medieval fantasy wasn't working for me, I gotta say. Where it's just, who's the villain? It is Valmore, who talks like this and is helmeted and is like, I am evil general who has taken over kingdom, and I will exile but not fully destroy the royal line, so they can come back later as a plucky band of rebels, you understand.
Oh, good. Let's see. No, she's got a Zweihander. Always a fan of a good Zweihander.
I am also.
Why did everyone shrink? But
Unit movement time.
okay.
It still looks amazing. Everything looks amazing. Even like the little tiny versions of the unit. There's like 3 different tiny versions of the units. It seems like.
Oh my! To move them. Okay.
Have you ever played or watched a Cavia shooter? Cave shooter? Maybe not Cavia. Cavia I think was Dragon Guard.
No.
Something like Dodon Pachi or something like that. When there's a bunch of just numbers popping up on the screen. That's what it kind of occurs to me. There's so many little numbers out of numbers.
Okay. I'm sensing it. What was it called? The auto battler that took off from League of Legends and Dota and the like a while ago.
It's like auto chess.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Also getting kind of vibes of not Lost Odyssey, the other JRPG for the Xbox 360 that came out around the same time from the same studio.
Blue Dragon.
No, the one that didn't have Akira Toriyama. Rest in peace.
To be fair, on Xbox, it's from same company. I feel like I met the brief on that one.
Yeah. I mean, that was my fault. I should have been slightly more specific.
Okay.
What was it? Let's see. Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, and
Last Remnant.
Yeah, that was it. Last Remnant.
I don't think that's not by
it was
the I forgot the name of the company. I don't think that's the same company. There's a Square. I think it was a Square Enix joint. I think so. Last Remnant was weird. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It got the 4-armed furry people, which you don't see in every game.
Yeah, I mostly remember a lot of auto battling, a intense, awesome Gaybold sequence.
Yes.
At the start, and leveling up one of my characters like a smile or something that was just like, oh, you got increased strength and +1 smile point, and I was like, what? Does that do anything?
Last Remnant is an achievement hill I will die on. It was one of the games that broke me of my desire to get achievements in games. Because that game actively punished you for grinding, because you can't beat the true final boss unless you level up correctly throughout the game. Because you can get good level ups and bad ones, and the enemies scale faster if you get bad ones. So you can make it to an unwinnable situation at the end of the game if you do not just use a guide to understand exactly what kinds of level ups you need to get during the story sequences, which you can't repeat.
And I definitely remember that part of the game. It's
Enlighten me, Valmor. To what end do you seek to usurp my throne?
Why do you want to be king? Look at my armor. I'm evil. Why wouldn't I want to be king? I mean, seriously. Do you even hear yourself now?
You sound silly. You're silly. She does have bucklers on both hands, so that the sprite makes sense in either direction. I also say that the turnaround animations on the one-handed enemies, they pass the weapon to their other hand, so they can use the mirrored sprite, which I thought was just like, it doesn't really make sense that they would be just as good with both hands, but I appreciate the detail.
Yeah, I mean, that's I don't know. I feel that's a lot of effort to hide that you didn't want to make a lot of effort.
Yeah.
You still made the effort. It does remind me of Street Fighter 3 and its enemy Gil, who they made a whole circuit board just to be able to handle his sprite not mirroring and actually flipping properly depending on which side he was on. Only for people to kind of hate that one.
All has gone according to plan,
Well, I mean, people like Street Fighter 3, but maybe not Gil specifically. This is why you write maximum on their pants. This is the DJ strategy.
We stand now at a new dawn for Fevrith, one which will see Zenoira's dominion restored at last.
So many generic properties. You see, switched hands. Okay.
Leave no trace of the old
Yes.
knight's captain.
Hold on, let me put this giant axe in the other hand. There, that feels better.
Cavalry unit was spotted riding through the eastern gate before it was
I don't know, maybe it's like Mario Brothers 3, and like
lost to us.
this whole thing is really a framing device for them putting on a play, and so he has to always face camera.
I mean, I would like that a lot. Like,
For deception.
the reviews I'd read from the game said that despite the extremely bland sort of setting trappings, that is good character work, which that can go a long way. But I don't know. I just want something a little bit more interesting than just this sort of
Medieval fantasy.
generic medieval fantasy. And it could even just be like a little twist, like this exact same thing, but it's I don't know, inside a planet-side organic ship or something. I don't know, just something weird.
This staggering betrayal stood unshrinking as the shield to her son Elaine's safe flight, and mustering what meager forces remained by her side, she rallied a defense as valorous as it was damned.
All right, I see where the tactics director was seeing something of a kindred spirit in here.
See, the tactics director is what drew what raised an eyebrow for you. What raised the eyebrow for me was people saying that it's a good evolution of the Gambit system from Final Fantasy 12. I'm like, go on.
All right, I mean, we're still in Evilise territory.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, I've been wanting the Gambit system from FF12 to show its face in something else, anything else.
Yeah, anything.
Like somebody
doesn't have
take
to
it
be
and
Final
improve
Fantasy.
on it.
Doesn't have to be Final Fantasy. It could be anything.
And ere long, Zenoira's vile dominion was realized.
Yeah, I think that the Gambit system in FF12 is one of my favorite game systems that appears to have been used once and then completely abandoned, tragically. The other being the Nemesis system from Shadow of War / Shadow of Mordor.
Sure.
Assassin's Creed at some point attempted to do something similar, but it was kind of anemic and pathetic compared to it.
I am a stand for the junction and draw system for Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like,
another version of that would be great too. Or an evolution of it. Doesn't have to be just the exact same thing. Final Fantasy is very good at making completely new gameplay systems for each entry, and sometimes completely new gameplay systems every hour in an entry.
I wonder if those
and
two are
now Girl Boss Red Riding Hood shows up because
well,
Vanillaware.
that takes care of the altar.
Not complaining.
I suppose
This
I
is
should
look.
get
Vanillaware's got a type, and I ain't gonna judge. But this ain't Dragon's Crown. This is not Dragon's Crown though.
Yeah, they've shown a remarkable amount of restraint for them
For them, yes.
so far.
Yes, there's a Vanillaware continuum, a sort of scale. I would say, guess which of one of three voice actors is the main character.
Sorry, Elaine, but this round's mine.
I mean, I'm always going to say Troy Baker first, followed by not Troy Baker.
I would say I'm always going to go with Yuri Lowenthal for an anime game, but okay, it of course could be
Got a
either.
good hit in. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and then I mean, Matt Mercer, but
There's
I,
no stopping you these
I'll be
days.
honest,
or,
FF7 Rebirth is just on my mind right now, so that's where this list is coming from.
Sure.
The rest of our lives, and even then, never managed to best Joseph. Weird to think he's back on the mainland now.
Okay, I
Finally
don't actually
making that
know the
Liberation
difference.
Army
All right,
thing a
so
reality
it
now.
is Elaine.
Guess that means we'll be going up against Anoira soon.
Okay, let me look it up.
Indeed, it does.
Yeah,
The people of Cornea are
I mean, it
suffering,
is
Lex.
good to hear the
Crying out
South
for whatever help we'll give them,
is still
please.
working.
Should I turn a deaf ear to those voices?
Uh,
I would have little and
Side
less claim
trivia:
to the crown I feel is
Yuri
mine.
is Peter Parker in Spider-Man. I didn't realize that he was the English VA for Sasuke and Naruto until he did his bully Spider-Man evil symbiont voice, and I was like, that sounds like Sasuke from English.
like,
Wow. Okay, yeah.
I will always think of Yuri Lowenthal as
Sorry for not sounding all too confident.
from Persona 4.
Just make sure you don't take it all on yourself. I'll be with you every step of the way.
What's his name?
Thank you, Lex.
Well, it's
You know I can't do this.
coming back. Oh, Yosuke. Yeah, Yosuke.
Oh, stop. You're gonna make me blush.
First friend.
Wait.
First friend. Yosuke.
Anyway, that's
Wait,
enough training for today.
Lowenthal's not Yosuke.
Nice lunch, but don't get
Yosuke is a different guy. Just looked him up. He's Red 13 in FF7
See
Rebirth.
something out there?
Final. I'm gonna look it up. The not Golden. Maybe they changed voice
Looks like
actors.
there's
I'll have to look
lines
it
in
up.
Moira colors, too. This island is no longer safe.
Oh, Johnny Young
We have
Bosch
to tell the others.
would be the other one I would have
Yeah,
guessed.
he's the main guy.
You head for
No,
the-
yeah, Yuri Lowenthal
Make
sure the
was
town knows what's
Yosuke, the 2008 Persona 4. I know that even in the Persona 3 re-release they recast all of the characters, so maybe there was two different people that voiced him. The one I remember
Could've been,
is Yuri
yeah.
for sure.
Hi, folks. Editing Corey here to explain what's happening. So, Jeff is correct. Yuri Lowenthal is indeed Yosuke from Persona 4. What I was confused about is I was thinking of Ryuji from Persona 5, who was voiced by Max Middleman, who also does Red 13. I kind of transposed the characters because, let's be honest, they are the same character and recast him accordingly. I don't know, I always assume Johnny Young Bosch when
Switch the
it's
hands.
more if it's a character who's got to have like kind of like a punk or a hard edge attitude, I'm like, all right, you know,
And remember,
Black Ranger, here we go. Well, second, or was he the second Blue Ranger?
I don't know. The first role I think
Oh,
of
he was the second Black Ranger.
when I think of Johnny Young Bosch, I immediately think of Last Exile and Last Remnant, actually.
Ruler of land and sky above, we pray this
I always
day
think
for
of Trigun,
deliverance from evil.
the original, because that was the first anime that I watched in English that I was like, I think this might be better than the Japanese.
Guide our lost souls on the path
And I was
to
right.
salvation.
Fight me on it.
I'm ambivalent on this point. I don't have a strong opinion.
For darkness looms thick through
Yeah.
all corners of
I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of ammunition in
Such is
the
my request as your humble servant.
subs not dubs camp up until that point, but
In the
Trigun
name
and
of the
then
guardian
Cowboy
unicorn
Bebop, and I was like,
and
all
blood of
right,
the Holy Mother.
now English is finally stepping
Is
up its
that
game.
you, Elaine? How many times must I ask you not to stomp around in the cathedral? What is the meaning of this?
Well, look
This
what
is
we
At
just.
some
got
point, I'll
here.
play a game again.
Seems we're the first to
I mean,
show.
it'll happen eventually. I was.
rough her up if you want.
I did a little bit of. Don't tell anyone, but I did a lot of cutscene skipping just to see what the demo actually was.
Such depravity will not go unpunished. Not in the house of the heavenly
Yeah, I was.
Father.
I do like the intro.
Making
This scene I do think has a good line in it though.
Yeah, making a demo is an art.
That she's fast. Pause.
Not as fast as us.
Like,
I do like that. I feel like that's a good intro for a
wow.
line.
Only a little shaken.
Yeah, that was.
Well,
I'll be honest. I
what's
wasn't
happening
expecting
to
that.
us, Elaine?
A ship has come ashore on Palavian soil, one hoisting the banner of the Zenoiran army.
And are they aware that you're the crown prince?
I can't
The
say
more
for
I
certain,
look at her outfit,
but
the
we know
more I
one
hate the
thing.
top.
These people are our enemy, and they must be stopped.
But there is a top.
Yes.
There
My
is a
cathedral will
top,
see
but
no
like,
more bloodshed this day.
I don't know.
Come,
It's this.
let's
It
move
has this
outside.
bizarre. She looks like she's wearing a corset incorrectly in the most uncomfortable possible configuration.
It's a relief to see you unharmed.
Hold on. Where's Lex?
He went to
Yeah,
head
it's
to
almost
alert
it's
the
almost like
town.
instead of the corset constricting down and then having like the head go through the top part, like the boobs are going through the top part of the corset, just kind of squeezing them together. I don't know. Maybe that's the style of Fevriff. Eh.
The unicorn.
Who knows? I mean, she's not literally doubled over with the sheer weight of their volume. So again, marked improvement.
But we no longer have such luxury.
She does have
I have the
anime
utmost faith in your sins.
anime heroine foot positioning
My
though.
mother.
Just the pointed inward
Thank you for this,
feet.
Joseph. Truly.
Yeah, it's like
Make no
can't
further mention of it.
couldn't stand up straight if her life depended on it.
I will say, because Dragon's Dogma is also on the mind, the Dragon's Dogma 1's character creator had a masculine to feminine continuum slider for stance, and it was the angle of the feet. Masculine is pointing outward, and then as you scrolled it in, they pointed more inward. I was like, this is such a very specific Japanese thing to be putting in here, and one of many reasons that I love that weird game that I'm very happy to get a sequel to very soon.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing it. I also realized another tangent after watching your Like a Dragon video, the Infinite Wealth one. After seeing it, I realized, that was the same night that we later played Helldivers. I'm realizing that you and I kind of back to backs were gaslighting David.
Yes.
You about the not Animal Crossing, and then later I was like, what? Flying bugs? No,
come on. I had to.
There's something to blur out later.
Yeah, something to blur out later. So remember to disable. Yeah, we'll disable toasts. Always a good thing to do. I do appreciate that they're kind of explaining what's happening, but it is an auto battler, so this isn't the part that you need to know about, really. It's the setup part, which I think that's an interesting choice, but I don't know. Having it be an auto battler is it's a very weird choice,
Let me.
I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know how to feel about it now. I mean, I at least partially like the idea of it here, and yeah, you're right. Normally in something like this, it wouldn't have even bothered explaining sort of what is going on and where the abilities and everything are coming from. Just like, oh, we'll just do this or whatever.
And I know it's just the demo, and it's also the beginning of the demo, so it's going to be tons of tutorials and stuff. But one of the things that I really wish would happened sooner was meaningful choices, one way or the other, that you could decide upon. Because for this first one, it's basically like the Gambit system, right? Where it's tell them what priority of moves to do. Basically, you have only one thing. It's here is the tutorial moves, use them. It's okay, well, I'm not really learning anything about why one would be better than another. I'm just pressing the go button, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a really long RPG, obviously you have time to get into all of the intricacies of the system, but I for a demo is when it's trying to convince me of oh, should I slot this into my time? I kind of want a little bit more of a preview into what are the tactical choices sooner than later, if possible.
Yeah, like I said, making a demo is it's an art. I know typically, I mean, my personal choice would have been maybe do the intro with the Queen, the cutscene with the explaining him running away, and then saying, we're going to fast forward 2, 3, 4 chapters, however many.
Yeah.
And just let you do a later game fight. Or do it like the Xenogears demo from 30 years ago in my youth, where it's just the opening to the game, but then as you're going into the first sort of walk around area, 2 characters from mid-game show up, and he's like, guys, you're not supposed to be here just yet. And you're like, yeah, but this is a demo, and we want to give people an idea for the game, so we're going to just show up here, and don't worry about who we are.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be okay.
Yeah, also feel that there's more than a little bit of making demos is actually difficult, especially if you're trying to carve out a thing. It's oftentimes easier to just be well, let's just take the game and give it a time trial or a hard limit on how far it goes.
You got it.
Which is why another reason that I miss the Xbox Live Arcade. Just because every game there natively had to support either a time trial version of the demo or X amount of hours. and so like developers essentially got it for free. Okay, I guess this is the part where I learn about reinforcing and
About
healing
losing.
units.
It is interesting
Loser.
that the fights between units are not necessarily decisive. It's the fights go until the action points are done for each side. So you could hit each other, but then still everyone's alive, and then you go back to the screen and then fight again.
In service of the royal family.
But don't worry, a guy that's like level 99 is here to take care of it for you.
Very well.
Getting some real Fire Emblem vibes.
It's just it's the horse, right? It's got to be just the horse, right?
This isn't gonna end well.
If
there we
there's like actual flying Pegasus mount units, and then even more so.
I have you.
I'll teach you to pick on my little brother.
Are you okay?
Buster Wolf. Oh wow, he is level 20.
Yeah.
If ever there were a way to quantify soon-to-be dead mentor energy,
Mm-hmm.
this guy is overflowing with it.
When your health goes to 0, you're incapacitated.
Gotta make this work.
Yeah. That makes sense. Got it. Yeah.
Now, it's not quite watching the death bar fill up until you are struck with immediate sudden death.
That could be from a number of different games.
Yeah, I was thinking another one on Elden Ring.
Yeah. There's the Dark Souls.
Was just-
the curse. Even
like,
Dark
yeah, you
Souls
have a-
1 had curse bars. So.
Yeah, I remember Elden Ring just I was like, yes, this is the death meter. And I was like, don't I already have a death meter? Like, only instead of filling up, it empties, but, you know, effectively the same thing. I was like, no, this one will kill you in a horrible, terrible, twisting, turning into a tree sort of way.
Yeah. Elden
It
Ring's
also
a good
won't
game.
animate properly when someone looks at your blood spatter, so it looks like you just get exorcist into the air and convulse until you die.
Maybe that is what happened, and the tree form is just the mercy of the human mind, trying to contemplate the eldritch horrors of the Erd tree. That's maybe too. That's too Bloodborne though. That's probably
I
not
was
what's
about to say, Bloodborne was real good.
Look, I also enjoy Bloodborne, but like whatever's going on with the dead fish prince inside that tree in Elden Ring is very Bloodborne. So.
To me,
Yeah,
not fail you.
Oof. I could not properly process whatever the heck was happening to Godfrey.
Yes, sir.
I do look forward to Shadows of the Erdtree, where we get new NPCs whose names start with
Gaze upon the face of
G
your
and R.
demise.
G, M,
And
R.
M. G, R, and M. Yes, the three letters that make up Elden Ring characters.
Stand true. Glory to the liberation.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
I know this isn't. We're not here to talk about Final Fantasy necessarily, but
Awaiting your command.
no spoilers. But for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, there's a surprising amount of people in the game world that seem to be aware of the melodies of various things and hum them or sing them or put lyrics to them.
Yeah. I blame Prompto from Final Fantasy 15.
Maybe so.
For first giving the Chocobo theme a jingle.
What would you
All right,
ask?
game. Is there literally any reason for me not to just keep throwing this guy at
No,
all of this?
This dude is just basically invincible.
This struggle will only prolong the pain. Accept the mercy of a swift demise.
I do like the voice acting. Like, voice actors are doing a good job.
What has motivated this shift
It's like
in
the writing itself is also pretty good. It's really just the setup that I was kind of like, I don't know, it seems kind of generic.
I shall close the book
Yeah.
on your tale myself.
But I mean, I guess you can say that about Final Fantasy Tactics as well. It starts with a very
I have you.
sort of generic
yeah.
fantasy for sure. So it could definitely go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, Tactics, I mean, it elevates fairly quickly once you get into the second chapter. At least in terms of pulling in the interesting magical-based conspiracy.
Magic. The CK. It's a CK magic kind of game.
We march. To me.
All right, I can't remember where she is, so I'm just going to tell everybody to go.
I shall hold nothing back.
Ooh, there we go. Now we're
that
cooking
fast
with
forward.
gas.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Glory to the liberation. For the liberation. The time is at hand. The path is set.
Oh, okay, he's still gonna go. Okay, whatever.
Try again. Stand true.
I mean, it's supposed to be a tutorial for your magic users, but he's doing fine. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not working. I think, but he's out of.
Yeah, I guess. Oh no, he's back. I was to say maybe
No,
he's
no,
out of
he's fine.
juice, but
All right.
no, he took a breather.
I shall hold nothing back. I have you.
All right, this will probably.
The battle is won.
All right, good job, team.
Good job, magic users. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
Time for some ostentatious UI. There's a lot of banners.
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot of like banners and heraldry and
Gold, sparkly, pretty.
What foolishness is this? One such as I, brought low by the corneate vermin that gnawed our ankles.
You've fallen far indeed,
Your
Hodrick.
weakness was magic,
How many
apparently.
times did you stare death in the face at Her Majesty's side? Now, look what you've become.
capital D,
I may
death.
stand as your swordmaster no longer, but I can yet offer you a merciful end to your descent. Wait,
I've got a MacGuffin.
Your Highness.
Something that comes from the title of the game.
Tell me, Hodrick, do you remember the times you
Really?
and I played together?
I was expecting.
When I was still just
I was
a boy.
expecting the title to just be
Yours
nonsense.
was a bond of loyalty few knights could
Yes,
ever
I mean the unicorn ring was supposed to be the like the birthright of the kingdom, but it
I
has
refuse to cut down
magical
a friend without
powers,
first knowing
wouldn't you
how
know?
we've reached this grim conclusion. A simple reason is all I ask.
I think we were talking over that part in the intro when you're entrusted with the unicorn ring from your
The ring.
mom.
What sorcery is this?
Yeah. I think I assumed that it was supposed to be something else. I don't know.
What am I doing here?
Oh, we're doing a mind control story.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're doing Microsoft story, so we can have
So-
villains to friend arcs at every single fight, basically. It seems like.
Tis the only way I can think to describe it, my prince. That ill-fated
And you
day,
don't have to come
all
up
the
with
lords closest to
additional
your mother turned
enemy
upon her
units
without so much as a
and
moment's
sprites.
notice.
If I were to be cynical, I would say that you also don't have to think about the motivations of why someone would pick one side or the other as much, but that's okay. It might not be the story they're going for.
Such magic would go far in explaining how Galerius so swiftly brought Fevrith to its knees.
I shudder to think what unspeakable evil I wrought upon our world these last 10 years.
I feel like there's
Though
still
there
a
is no
chance
greater misdeed
whenever there's
than turning my
evil,
spear upon you, Prince
helmeted
Elaine.
evil guy. There's always a
Enough.
chance that it's
You mustn't
just a
blame yourself any
time-slipped
further.
version of the main character. I'm not going to rule it out, you
I do
know?
wonder,
Yeah.
How is this ring capable of unmaking the spell?
In truth,
I mean, it's a good
I had
it's a
believed
good
it to be
twist.
mere regalia, a
You do
symbol
have
of
to
your
earn it.
birthright,
You
nothing
can't
more.
just have it
Power of
as
cleansing truly exists.
something to do because you need something to end the movie.
Your Highness, that
Stares
is the ring
angrily
of the
at
unicorn,
the Flash
ancestral
for that
treasure
and a
of
myriad of
Horus
other things that it
Born.
did wrong.
For that and some other
Legend
things.
speaks of your ancestors wielding it to purify evil, but I had believed such tales to be mere fiction.
Fiction in a fantasy game is merely fact that you haven't gone across the world to collect yet.
How it was a sacred beast able
Fair
to purge
enough.
darkness from our lands. It's entirely possible that the ring that bears its image is somehow capable of that same power.
Should Galerius's rule be built upon a foul sorcery that fetters our people, then this ring is the ray of light that will pierce its wicked heart.
The heavens. You're
Your
supposed to
words
pierce the
ring true,
heavens.
Prince.
Yeah.
Indeed. Were we able to free those bound by his cruel magics?
It might just bring the iron wall of Zenoira crashing down.
All right, it's settled then.
Told, I've
We
often
attack
found
Gorbachev.
myself plagued with
Oh,
doubt.
wait. Wrong
Is
iron
it
wall.
justice that guides our march, or paltry vendetta? Yet the answer is clear as day now.
It's really more of a
The path
curtain.
before us is laid bare.
Some
and
sort
all
of
that remains now
non-permanent
is to walk it.
partition.
Walk it I will, Mother.
All right. Well, calling it already. Not that it's that
Today
out of left
marks
field,
our
but
first foray
Mom
into
is
the
the
mists of
penultimate
despair which hang
bad guy
heavy
unit
over
you've
our
got.
home. Mists that will soon
Maybe
be
so,
dispelled.
yeah.
It may take days, months, or even years, but I shall see the duties of my bloodline fulfilled, and slay Galerius like the beast he is.
Also, big axe guy. Also, someone who's being manipulated by an even bigger bad.
I would expect no less, and actually would be disappointed if there was less. So,
And how does Hodrick fare?
Well, all things considered, any fog that lingered in his mind seems to have cleared, and he stands ready to fight once more.
very pointy
By
beard.
the
Good for
way,
him.
Your Highness, allow me to brief you on our plans.
It's like,
for
is
when
he
we arrive.
is he gonna have some sort of PTSD episode where he remembers in detail all the things that he at the time thought were correct, but now realized were atrocities? Maybe not. That might not be the story they're going for, and that's okay.
Or is he going to encounter a village that he ransacked and pillaged, and they insist on giving him a trial now that he has a conscience?
A
And
word?
Possibly.
you have to plead as like, no, it wasn't really him. It was a mind controlled version of him. And he's a good man now, and we need
No,
him
it's
to
nothing.
beat the
Are you sure?
big bad
Anxiety
guy.
will be the death of you if you keep it bottled up like that.
It really
Little
isn't
D
important,
death in
I
that
assure
one.
you.
Not capital D
It's
death.
just
Yeah, they've been
our
jumping
lives have
around.
changed so drastically from the peace we had only yesterday. It barely seems
I'm
real.
surprised that a game hasn't
I can't say I feel
tried to
indifferent,
tutorialize me how to set up my auto fightingness.
but I've always known this day would come.
I think that you
That's why I
could
spent
get
all
into the
these years
menu
training
on
under
the
Joseph's careful instruction.
just like the overworld map
A
view
shame you never had the
earlier.
chance to meet my mother.
But I don't actually
She
think
was
that
always one to
it could
blaze a
it'd
path
let you like
forward.
make any
Royal blade and
changes. You
arm.
could just like look at them.
But as her heir,
Yeah, I
Just,
imagine you could
just
probably get yourself
inspect the menu.
stuck.
Maybe so.
if you
Is
do it
that why
wrong.
you and Lex spent all your days banging
And also, you
swords
don't
down
really.
at the
Apparently, you
shore?
don't need anything other than
You've
a horse guy
seen that,
attack.
have you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hodrick was likely but one of many. And assuming the others who surrendered to Zenoira are being controlled as he was, we may just stand a chance in this. Yet our liberation is still in
Oh,
its
I just
nascent
realized it
days.
is like the newest Fire
Promising,
Emblem.
yes,
You've got a ring
gravely fragile as
that
well,
does magic BS.
which is precisely why I'll need your help, Scarlet.
I mean, it's only
To
one
reclaim
instead
peace
of
for all who have suffered.
16 plus
Elaine,
DLC, but
I-
whatever.
Of course. I'll do
I
everything
I ain't a
can,
Fire Emblem person. I can't
as
follow
is
you
my
down this
role
path.
as a priestess of the Palavian Church.
Okay. Trust me, this is too much Fire Emblem stuff in here.
Lex,
I mean, you don't have stands made out of the spirits of prior protagonists.
I'm sorry, my prince.
Yet.
Decorum doesn't come naturally to this
yet.
It's all right. When you've known each other as long as we have, there's no reason to let formality bind us.
But there are protocols to observe. Rules we must follow as vassals in service of the crown. Still, I'm of the same mind. What mind he has, that is. I'll give my all in the royal name, Your Majesty.
Thank you all. I couldn't ask for a finer group of friends.
Sure, but I think I'll use this as a good point to stop for the video.
For sure. I feel like the flavor is there, but the specifics of the mechanics aren't. And my general feeling was that, much like a lot of Vanillaware games, they make beautiful looking games that have very strange twists on familiar formulas that I don't necessarily grab me enough to go all the way through. So I usually end up just like watching someone play them. I think this might be
the same way.
This is also a case of there's in between Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. There's just a lot of other extremely long JRPG and sort of Japanese action RPGs that are just like calling me. So maybe sometime down the line, I should really get back to playing 13 Sentinels as well. The only reason I fell off of that one was because you had to be in a mood to do a visual novel, because that's what it is essentially. It's like if you're not in the mood for a visual novel, then not really.
It's gonna be real long for you.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you're getting antsy of like, oh, let's get to the gameplay. It's like no, it's a visual novel, so that is the game. It's like, okay, so to be in the right mood for it.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of the same on this one. I'm intrigued by some of the ideas. I kind of want to see how deep the auto battling gambit and setup system of it goes. But I was also surprised that it's on Xbox. That means at some point it may be on Game Pass. So I'm gonna wait for that.
Okay, that's possible. Yeah, I was also surprised. I know it's not on PC or it's not on Steam, and I just assumed that it was only on PlayStation, like a lot of the other Vanillaware stuff.
Like
I suppose
they've done.
Well, I mean, Muramasa was on Wii, but other than that, I kind of associate them with Sony.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but well, that was a lovely experiment. Thanks for joining me.
See you. I don't have a sign-off line. It's just kind of
yeah. I mean, I don't have a Patreon or any of that other stuff, so I have no reason to sign off.
You don't have to hawk anything. We could just talk. We talk about how the idea of this is dangerous. This might go off into a 30-minute conversation about how the idea of having someone being magically controlled as a MacGuffin in a fantasy story is very interesting if you take the time to do a very long side quest where you're deprogramming some character, say some sort of goblin character, and at the end of it you realize that it is possible to deprogram, which then fills you with immense amounts of guilt of all the people that you killed that you thought that you had written off earlier as being anyways. That kind of thing I think is rife for drama. I don't know if this game will go that way, but
absolutely. I don't get that feel. Like they seem to be very upfront about it's like, it's been 10 years, but the rebellion hasn't made much progress because the prince that they were waiting for to Luke Skywalker, this whole thing hasn't grown up yet.
Yeah, it's true. MacGuffin's back though.
Yeah, MacGuffin's back on the table, boys.